U.S. stocks roller coasted in the third quarter of 2013, but still celebrated another record close on September 18th. The Federal Reserve refrained from tapering its stimulus effort, a move cheered in financial markets worldwide. Global investors sighed with relief as diplomacy headed off a major geopolitical crisis in Syria, and sighed with frustration as bipartisan sparring threatened to shut down parts of the U.S. government and threaten its ability to pay debt. Assumptions of a higher mortgage rates didn't exactly reduce demand for homes. Foreign stock benchmarks rose, and so did prices of precious metals. Mirroring the third quarter of 2012, the big economic move of this quarter came in mid-September. A year after rolling out QE3, the Fed unexpectedly announced it would hold off on reducing the amount of its monthly bond purchases. Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke mentioned that the central bank could be open to a taper later in the year. Turning from Wall Street to Main Street, the jobless rate fell to 7.3% in August. Even so, almost 38% of those unemployed in August had been out of work for 27 weeks or longer. Consumer inflation was minor, bringing the annualized inflation rates to 1.86%. Consumer spending and consumer incomes both increased during the quarter. Wall Street and Main Street tracked many other news developments in the quarter. In July, the Obama administration chose to delay one part of the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. The requirement for businesses with 50 or more employees to furnish health insurance plans was pushed back until 2015. Still, online health care exchanges for uninsured individuals opened on October 1st as scheduled. In August, President Obama called for the phase-out of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, proposing to replace them with a new system reliant on private sector purchases of mortgages from lenders, with private capital bearing the bulk of any losses. The quarter ended with a partial shutdown of the federal government looming due to an impasse over the federal budget, a partisan dispute that resulted in the first such shutdown since late 1995. When Secretary of State John Kerry stated that Syria's government had used chemical weapons against its own people in late August, the threat of American military intervention in the conflict between rebels and pro-Assad forces rocked global stock, bond, and commodity markets. President Obama said the U.S. would only intervene with the approval of Congress. Before that vote could take place, Russia offered a plan to disarm Syria's chemical weapons stockpiles, one the U.S. accepted. While that conflict eased, global investors certainly had plenty of other headlines to consider. In better news, the Eurozone recession was over. Its economy had grown for the second straight quarter, albeit with the Euro area jobless rate averaging 12% by August. Unfortunately, Italy's fractious coalition government threatened to come undone at the end of the third quarter when 5 ministers belonging to the former prime minister's center-right party quit their posts over a tax hike. This left analysts wondering if Italy would face a credit downgrade and possibly an emergency election. After a disastrous second quarter, precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum rebounded nicely in the third quarter. Oil futures rose while natural gas was nearly flat for the quarter. This had not been a good year for key crops so far, with wheat, corn, and soybeans all being down for the quarter. We received mixed news in the real estate sector. Existing home sales were still up, with buyers scrambling to lock in rates. New home sales fluctuated, down 14% in July, but back up 7.9% a month later. Contrary to the assumption of many, mortgage rates actually declined in the quarter. The average 30-year mortgage reduced to 4.46%. The third quarter of 2013 showed increases in U.S. equities. Still, the drama in Washington is on every investor's mind and hopefully will not become the defining political and economic event of the fourth quarter. Should the shutdown drag on for more than a week, the fourth quarter GDP could be impacted by fractions of a percentage point. Should the fight over the debt ceiling be prolonged, who knows what might happen. The last time the U.S. faced the risk of default, summer of 2011, the S&P downgraded America's credit rating and a 14% correction hit the Dow. Perhaps earnings seasons can serve as a bit of a distraction, although hopes aren't particularly high for this next one. Some of the major factors that have contributed to corporate profits, super low interest rates, a weak greenback, minor inflation, and sustained demand from emerging markets may be lessening. So there are challenges aplenty for Wall Street in the coming quarter. Who knows if stocks can vault over these obstacles as easily as they have so far in 2013. There may be more upside in the final year of the quarter. As always, we appreciate the trust you have placed in your LifePlan wealth management team. If you should have any questions, please contact your relationship manager. Enjoy the rest of your year, everyone.